Hello, friends. My name is Ariel Huggins. I am Superstar Director of Nomad Tribe, hashtag It's Your Move. And I, along with my friends here tonight, are excited to talk to you about becoming a lead consultant, whether you are essential or certified and want more for your business this season. You want to grow, you want to be able to move forward. We have some really awesome, tangible things to talk with you about tonight. Um, and I am super stoked. We are going to go over things like how to get your first $500 paycheck, $1,000 paycheck, 5,000, and so on. Just we're going to give you tangible things, but we want you to see what is available for next step, but also what is available for dreaming bigger. Sometimes when we talk about these big dreams, they seem audacious and maybe like they're not tangible because it's so far away. So what we're wanting to do is kind of break that down along the way and make it more bite size for you to be able to do more without being discouraged or overwhelmed. So most of you here are either an essential consultant or a certified consultant. Everybody starts as an essential consultant, and we have, oh, by the way, I'm caveating this entire conversation with our compensation plan because we are talking about money. Legally, we are required to talk about the income disclosure statement, and legally we are required to say that results are not typical, but I also like to add on, neither are you. You are amazing and you can do amazing things, hard things, and big things. And we are here to cheer you on. So essential consultants, everybody starts off making 20% back commissions on every thing that they sell. Every PRV, you get 20% back commissions. And the first awesome promotion that you're going to get is when you hit certified consultant. So that is when you sell 1,000 lifetime PRV and you get a 5% permanent pay raise. So who doesn't want an extra 5% cash back with their commissions? I know I do. So 1,000 lifetime PRV, it doesn't matter when it is. If you're just starting, we like to help you have a big launch and get that paycheck bigger as soon as you can. Sometimes people start slower, that's okay, but there is no wrong time to make those moves. All right, so the next thing is becoming a lead consultant. And I actually want to do a screen share so I can pull up the compensation plan for everybody to see. And let me just make sure I get the right one. Okay, let me know if you can see the compensation plan. Thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. And Andy, it looks like we've got some people in the waiting room. I'm sure you're seeing that. Maybe not.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I got it. Yep.
Good. Cool. Awesome. All right. So you'll see on this, can you see my mouse too? Circling.
hmm
Perfect. All right. So that's what we talked about. Essential is the 20%. Certified is the 25%. And those are only reliant on you. You don't have to have anybody in your downline to get your paycheck or receive any bonuses, is what I mean. The next one that we are working to grow toward is lead consultant. And so the requirements for lead consultant are 500 personal retail volume. So you are selling 500. And your group as a whole, you and whoever else is in your group, is 1,000 GWV. Sometimes these terms can be a little tricky. The GWV is 75% of what you sell, because that 25% is what makes up the commissions and bonuses, right? So total PRV, you and your teammates just need to sell 1,333, and you need to have at least one person on your team be active with 200 PRV. So that is the next step that a lot of you are working towards. So if I want you to look down here under your commission from your PRV is 25%, like we talked about. But once you start growing a team and get paid at title, you also get a 2% bonus on your personal wholesale volume. And then you also get a 2% bonus on what your frontline, people you personally sponsor, are selling. How cool is that? Because, or that, yeah, of their team wholesale volume. Scentsy rewards us for helping train others to work and grow their business. So it's a pretty rad opportunity. But there's also some other perks that go along with, I'm going to go ahead and stop share. There's some other perks that go along with be hitting a lead consultant. I think the biggest benefit of all is being found on the consultant locator in your area. So if you hit lead this month, by the 9th of next month, you are going to be found on the consultant locator. And that is pretty darn rad. So when people type in your zip code, the names that pop up are lead consultant and above who are paid at title of lead or above. So it's pretty rad. So anyway, I just wanted to preface all of this with knowing and understanding the compensation plan and the requirements as we go and talk about the different levels that you can hit, the different opportunities that are available. And we're going to give you the tangible, what we did, how we did it, and how we created the income that we did. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the torch to Maggie, who's going to chat with us first.
Hi, guys. For those that don't know me, my name is Maggie Hensley, and I am a Superstar Director in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm going to talk to you about that $500 to $1,000 paycheck range. So when you first start out with Scentsy, let me be very clear and say when I joined 12 years ago, I had no idea how we got paid. I didn't know what our commission percentage was. I didn't know about trips. I literally knew nothing. I knew that I liked things that smelled good, and I decided to join kind of on a whim, but I literally had no clue what I was doing. I had no idea about any of that, none of the numbers. I'm not a numbers person. So I didn't know that we started out at 20%. You do. The day you join, you start out making 20% commission. And then, like Ariel said, when you get to that 1,000 PRV, you bump up to 25% commission from then on. Okay. So the month that I joined, I did what I was told to do. I had a launch party. I literally told every single person that I knew that I had joined Scentsy. I put it on my social media. I sent out a really long, to my email list. I was part of a boxer rescue organization at the time. So I was like, let's do a fundraiser for that. I literally hit the ground running because I didn't know to be scared. I didn't know to be afraid of the no. I didn't know to be embarrassed or feel awkward about it. I was excited about this new business. I was excited about this new thing that I was doing. And I really needed some joy in my life and some purpose. And Scentsy very quickly gave that to me. And so I joined on February 13th, and I had 2,000 PRV before the end of the month because I just did the things that I was told to do. I watched the trainings on the training center, and I did the things that it said. I put together a basket party with my kit. I smelled things with my son and put a video on Facebook. I told everybody that I knew that I had joined. And honestly, I would say that first month, I don't want to say it was easy because it was a lot of work. It was a lot of things that I had to figure out, but it just kind of fell into place. And then I had to figure out what I was going to do next. Right. So once I got that first paycheck, and I pulled up my first paycheck earlier so I can actually show you guys, it was $608.60. And for someone who at the time had a $25 a week grocery budget, think about that, $25 a week to feed me, my husband, and at the time our 2 kids. Literally, we had no money. I was wearing the same jeans I was wearing from high school. We only had 1 car, so I was literally trapped at home all day with my kids. I had nothing for myself. It was a very lonely time, and we had zero wiggle room whatsoever. If we went over on the grocery budget that week, we were in big trouble. So making $600 on something that was a huge stretch to spend 99 on was life-changing for me. And with the way that I did it was I had 2,028 PRV that month. So you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't math. That's 600 is not 25% of 2,000. You're right, it's not. Because when you hit 2,000 PRV in a month, you get a 5% bonus. So 2,000 PRV is not a $500 paycheck. It's a $600 paycheck. And again, that was life-changing for me. I did it one time and I was like, well, I have to do this every month now. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this every single month. And I will say it is totally doable for one person to make a $600 paycheck every single month. Is it hard? It can be until you get into a rhythm, until you get established, a customer base, until you can kind of figure out your rhythm and how things work. But if you want to make more than that, you really need to grow a team, because it's really, really, really freaking hard to continue to do that same thing over and over again and to make more money than that just by yourself. It really is. It's something that takes a really long time to build up. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but you have to work a heck of a lot harder to make money when it's just you working than you do if you grow a team and you show them to do the same things that you've been doing. Okay. So yes, $65 is the average order. It's 30 orders. So what I did is I literally broke it down from that point forward. I was like, well, dang, I got to do this again. How do I do it? Juniper. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I hope you guys cannot hear my dogs wrestling in the background. June. I broke it down into days and into weeks. So I knew every Friday I needed to put in a 500 PRV order, right? And so how was I going to do that? I told all my customers that I put in an order every single Friday. And so from then on, I just knew like, I'm collecting orders all throughout the week, and I will put in one bulk order on Friday. That's how I was gonna get the most out of my host credits. That's how I was going to get free shipping. So most things were coming to me. Some things were online orders or whatever, but for the most part, things were coming to me, and I was then delivering, or people were picking up from me. So I would get the car on Fridays. That was like my thing. I would get our car on Fridays, and then I would do my deliveries, and I loved it so much. But then it kind of grew, and then people were doing porch pickups. Or right now it's mostly online orders, but basically everybody knew that I was placing an order every Friday. So people get paid on Fridays. So I would remind people that. So I knew every Friday I was placing that order. I knew I had to work to get basically 60, 65 PRV. It kind of works out to where if you sell 3 6-packs of wax a day, Monday through Friday, and then 1 6-pack on Saturday and 1 6-pack on Sunday, that's 500 PRV. So I was breaking it down into smaller increments so that it wasn't quite as overwhelming to think about doing 2,000 PRV in a month. And so that is how I was getting a $600 paycheck. That's how I did it the first time. And that's how I knew I needed to continue doing it over and over and over again. The next month, I had 3,000 PRV. I had one new team member. I don't remember how much GWV she had. But basically, I had 1,000 more PRV, a team member who had her own PRV. I promoted to lead consultant, and I got $400 more. Okay, so of that $400, only 25 of it, no, 250 of it came from my extra 1,000 PRV. That extra $150 came from my team member. That's not something that I necessarily had to work for. Had I gotten $150 from PRV, that would have been $600 more PRV that I needed to get. That's a lot. That's a lot of PRV. That's 10 more 6-packs. So think about that. I'm not going to say it's work I didn't have to do, because I trained my team member. I still worked with her. I encouraged her. It's a different kind of work. It's a different area that we work on with our team, versus sales. Sales can be hard for some people. Some people have really like huge teams, and then they do closer to 500 or 1,000 PRV a month. Some people have really big sales and they have smaller teams, and the paychecks can kind of even out. But all of that is to say, the way to make more money is to grow a team. You can only do so much in PRV, honestly. You really can only do so much in PRV. You will work yourself to the bone to try to make the kind of money. If you want to make $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, if you want to make a $10,000 a month paycheck, that means you would have to sell 30,000 PRV in a month. Do you know what people have to do to sell 30,000 PRV in a month? No, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. And I will tell you that like people that do crazy stuff like that, they even say, this is not a good time. It's not. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of parties. It's online. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Just trust me. You're going to learn a little bit how to make $10,000 a month without selling 30,000 PRV. Wendy's going to tell you. But my point being, if you break it up into small increments, bite-size goals, daily goals, 2,000 PRV in a month is going to get you it's going to get you a $600 paycheck. And then who's going to talk to us about a $1,000 paycheck? Rachel.
Hi. Hello. All right. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys about making a $1,000 paycheck. And I love this dollar amount. It's probably like my favorite dollar amount of, hey, that's what I want to make to talk about. And I'm trying not to get distracted by all the things on my desk because my meds wore off a long time ago. So disregard the fact that my eyes are looking everywhere except here because it's a struggle. It's a real life struggle. But it's my favorite to talk about because when I joined, so I joined February of 2022. And when I joined in February of 2022, see what I mean? February 22nd of 2016. Jesus Christ. Okay. February of 2016. So my first check was nothing. My first check was like $50 because I had scheduled my launch party geared towards the Shooting Star Award. So I had scheduled my launch party after the 1st of March. And my first check was like $50. Okay, it was like nothing because I had just sold like, that's like $200 worth of Scentsy. It was not much at all. But then my first month as a consultant, I had my launch party. And I'm not even gonna look up my paycheck because I don't really want to go over all that. It's very specifically for the first month. But my first real month was March and I had my launch party. As Maggie said, I did all the things that I was told to do. And not even, okay, so I take that back because I wasn't told to do anything because my sponsor was gone. Backstory, my sponsor after 2 weeks disappeared. She never returned my phone calls, disappeared. I think she went through a divorce. I don't even know. I'm friends-ish with her now. And my sponsor now is great. I rolled up to one of my actually pretty good friends now. But at the time, my old sponsor, my original sponsor, she was gone. So I didn't do what I was told because nobody told me what to do because other than have a launch party, because she did say schedule a launch party. Beyond that, it was stuff that I found on my own to do. It was me on YouTube. It was looking at everybody's videos on YouTube. It was looking at, like, I am the kind of person that when I start something, like you'll see, if you know me well, you know this, that I am either 1,000,000% in or like I don't even know what planet this is on. And there is nothing in between. Like there is nowhere in between. Like 100% in or nothing in. So when I joined Scentsy, thank God, I was 100% in. And I looked up every YouTube video. I went through every single word of the workstation. Like I knew, and I do the same thing now to this day, 8 years later. I knew in and out of that incentive that had ended before I joined. The last day was January 31st, but all the details were on the workstation. So I looked at every word of those incentive qualifications. I looked up everything. I did every video, all the things. So nobody told me what to do, but I figured it out. And I knew, I could tell by the little bit that I knew that I could take in from YouTube, from the workstation, all the things. I could tell that at the end of the day, I just needed to sell Scentsy and then try to find people to sell Scentsy with me. And that's it. And almost 9 years later, I still am selling Scentsy and finding people to sell Scentsy with me. And that's it. And I'm working with my team, obviously, of course, I added that component, but the basis of my business is still the same. Okay. So my first $1,000 paycheck, that wasn't my initial month, because when I first joined, when I came in hot and heavy, and I sold 4,000 my first month. And I recruited 3. I think I promoted a star consultant within like 3 weeks. Like obsessive, you guys. Like it's a problem. It's probably what you would call it OCD, and I should probably also take medication for that, but it's fine. But once I got going, something that's realistic beyond the 4,000 in sales and all the things, I pulled up some numbers for you guys that I wanted to show you. In May 2016, I sold $2,100 in Scentsy. And I had a team wholesale volume of 3,200 with 2 active frontline. So I was being paid as a star consultant, $785. This was May 2016. Okay. Things to take away from this is I was still actively selling and I was still actively sponsoring. Obviously, hopefully it was 3 months after I joined. So I would hope that I am. But that's what I was doing. I was selling and I was sponsoring. I'll go into details in a second, but I just wanted to compare these checks. And then let's see. And then let's go to May of 2018. I had promoted to director between, obviously quite a bit before this, but my PRV, so I made $1,000 and $1,060. Okay. My PRV this month was only $790. it wasn't $2,200 almost like it was in May of 2016. I got paid more and I sold a third of the amount. Okay. I had active front, I can't see my team size, but an active front line of 15 and a team wholesale volume of 12,800. So I was making leadership bonuses. Leadership bonuses is where at this point, a lot of my check was coming from. Okay. Already at the sort of beginning, this was 2 years in, but this is when my business really started to take off. Because if I look back at, and I did want to also compare another one for you guys, and it was May of 2017. So a year after that first May, I told you, May of 2017. Okay. I made $261. So I wanted to show you guys this because it's not all rainbows and roses. It's not always going to be great. You're going to have times that you're a normal person. Okay. You're going to have times that you're like, you know what? This is really hard. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I'm telling you, in this moment, May of 2017, I was debating on if I wanted to continue selling Scentsy. It wasn't because anybody did anything or anything like that. It was honestly because I am the person that I am and I was getting bored. But I went to Africa the next month because I had earned an incentive and my entire world changed. And I never, ever, ever did anything even remotely like this again. Okay. My whole world changed by one trip of being surrounded by Scentsy consultants, by going on an incentive trip and seeing the way that Scentsy corporate treated us, the relationship that they were building with me already a year after I joined. I was brand new. I had sold $500 the month before I went to Africa. And I wasn't treated any less. I was treated like, royalty is what you're like on these incentive trips. Okay. So I wanted to show you that this is the reality, that it's not all rainbows and roses, and that's okay. All right. You don't have to be sitting here because you're going to hear big numbers. You're going to hear big PRV. You're going to hear all kinds of recruiting things. And of course, that's what we want mostly for you to get. But I want you to also understand, if you're in a position today that maybe that's not what you've been doing, all it takes is one moment for you to decide, I want to do more. And I want to do more than what I did yesterday. And I want to be better today than I was yesterday. Okay. And that's a lesson that I take in my business every single day. That's a lesson that I try to give to my kids every single day, is every single day to just get better. If you're better tomorrow than you are today, then that's great. I'm not saying you got to be leaps and bounds better. I'm not saying you got to sell, if you sold 500 last month, that you need to sell 3,000 this month. I'm not saying that. Anything is better to improve yourself and to improve your business every single month. Okay. So how did I do the 1,000? Because we want actual details, right? It's the same things as I do today. I partied my freaking butt off. Okay. I am a partier. That is what I do. I don't do huge online sales. I don't do huge events. Yes, I dabble in a few events. I have a few now, but they're still relatively small in the world of Scentsy events. Okay. I don't have an event where I'm bringing in $15,000 in sales. I don't have an event where I'm bringing in a stupid amount of money and setting up for 2 weeks at a state fair. I don't have those. I do the events that you can do as a newer consultant. I do the events that are 2 days or 1 day, that are relatively affordable to do, to where I could still be an active participant in my kids' lives. And I'm not saying anything bad about people that do huge events, because there's some people that do 2 weeks events, but for me, that's just not my style. And I would rather party. Okay. So I do events a little bit, but that's not where the bulk of my PRV comes from. All of my business comes from parties. I love parties. Okay. And this is stuff that I did then. I have changed my parties a little since then. But when I first started getting $1,000 paychecks, it was parties. It was me deciding that I was going to party. I made a goal at that point that at minimum, I wanted 1 party a week. Okay. Back then, a lot of my business was home parties. I love home parties. I still to this day. And guess what, you guys, I got 2 this month. So don't tell me that they don't exist, because they do. Okay. I loved home parties. My goal back then was a home party every single week. All right. Now it has shifted a little bit because we're not in homes as much. So now my goal is to get bag parties out as often as possible. You do not need to overcomplicate it. Okay. If you follow me, you know what I've been posting is these. This is where the bulk of my stuff is. I have 2 full-size bag parties, but these are what I have going out like hotcakes. I got 3 out today and a full-size bag party out today, and then a full-size bag party out on Friday. And this one is going out tomorrow. Okay. So that is how I run my business. I run them on parties. That's how I ran them then. That's how I run them now. Fundraisers. all of those types of things. Because the end goal, guys, is to get Scentsy in front of people, to get Scentsy under noses. Okay. So get Scentsy under noses, sell the heck of it, and then bring your team on with you. Because the more that you sell, the more that you're going to sponsor. The more parties that you host and the more people that you meet, the more you're going to sponsor. And once you start sponsoring, like Maggie had mentioned, that is when you start to see these consistent $1,000 paychecks because your team is helping you reach those numbers. Okay. Sell, sponsor, and tell your team how you did it. And that is exactly how you will make $1,000 every single month. Okay. Drop the excuses at the door. It's hard for everybody. If you work hard enough, you'll find a way to get Scentsy under people's noses. All right. Who's next? I think it may be Andy.
Well, I'm going to set my timer so I make sure.
I didn't watch the timer, so I hope I didn't go over 10.
Y'all know I like to talk about Scentsy. Hi guys, I'm Andy Teeter. I am a Superstar Director as well, and let me tell you a little bit about my background. I am very unlike Maggie and Rach. I am, okay, so let's see. When I started, I didn't hit shooting star. I didn't have my friends and family buying from me. Did not sell that much. The economy was kind of down. Scentsy was, going through that normal business slope, kind of down a little bit at the time. I had just moved. We were a military family. I didn't know anybody. We were totally broke. I couldn't buy stock or anything like that. But I knew something in my head. I knew that if nothing changed, then nothing was going to change. And when I didn't hit shooting star, I said to myself, am I going to do this or not? I started this to make my Jeep payment. And if I was going to make that Jeep payment, I had to change some things about what I was doing. I had to stop being scared to ask people to host parties. I had to stop that fear from posting and going live and all these little fears that I had from that guy on my shoulder telling me I couldn't do it and I was going to fail and what were people going to think of me? And I started showing up for me. I started showing up. I got rid of that fear. And my last 2 weeks, I said, I'm going certified consultant. In my first month, I want it. So I reached out to everybody I knew. I posted, I booked 5 parties, and guess what? I hit certified. And at that moment, because I did something like that, and I was so proud of myself because I was a stay-at-home mom and I had always worked a full-time job. And I loved being a mom and a wife, but I needed something more. I needed something to show me not only that I could help pay the bills, but show me I could do hard things again. And I did it. And I was like, well, that wasn't that hard. I think I maybe put in 2 to 5 hours a week. And I was like, well, that was pretty easy. If I put in more time, I wonder what I could get out of this. So I'm here to talk to you guys about my first $1,500 paycheck. And up until then, and this was 8 months in, because I wasn't a super high PRV person, but I did like sponsoring. I sponsored 2 people my first month. And I remember watching a training of Jen Audette, one of our good friends. And she said, if you sold 2,000, then you were going to talk to enough people that you could recruit 2 or more a month. And she said, 2,000 in PRV and 2 recruits a month will get you to the director fast. And directors where you make more of a full-time income, right? I wanted that. So I said, all right, and I did like these guys, and I went and I trained myself. I watched videos of people that were having success, and I did exactly what they were telling me to do, and I didn't stop until I hit the goals. I didn't stop when I heard no. I didn't stop when I, had somebody that said they're going to buy that didn't. I just kept pushing forward. So my 8 months in, I hit director. I had 2,000 PRV that month. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had 2,500 PRV that month. I had 29 people on my team, but 20 of those people were actually people that I sponsored, meaning that I had a couple of teammates under me that were sponsoring some too, right? We had a GWV of $11,200, and that's when I got my first. It was a 1650 was my first over $1,500 paycheck. And the most important thing that I did was I shared the opportunity with everyone that I knew, and I never stopped. I built my networks, and how I built my network was a couple different ways in the beginning. I would go to Chamber of Commerce meetings because I didn't know anybody where we lived. I would go to Chamber of Commerce meetings. I would go to wherever I could to meet people. But I also I leaned on some of my friends and family who didn't purchase, and I said, "Hey, I understand if you can't afford it. Would you like to get that for free?" So then I thought, man, if I ask everybody that comes to me with an order, if I just simply try to turn that around into two things, either a new recruit or a new hostess, my business could grow, right? Because you go from taking a $50 order from somebody to turning that into a party saying, hey, why don't you get that for free? And when they say how, you could say, well, you can join my team, or you can say whatever wording you want. Or you can start this business opportunity with me, or you can host a party and get it free. So I was taking that $50 order and turning it into a $500, a $700, a $300 party. And I was building my network that way too. And then I went online. If you guys look up on YouTube, I have a million trainings online. That's 99% of my business, 99.9% of my business now. Before COVID even came around, I'm an online girl. I have met people online. That's how I connect with people. Some of you guys know that because you're some of my new recruits that joined last month that I met online. We've never met in person. And that's how I built my network, right? Everyone is busy, no matter if they have a full-time job. Some people here have full-time jobs, kids, small kids, whatever. Everyone is busy. But there is plenty of opportunity out there if you make it important. If you make your time, if you create that time towards Scentsy and you make it something important enough that you will give the time when the kids go down for a nap or when the kids go to sleep, and you give it that little bit of time every day, you can see big results. When I started to realize I wanted to be a director and I wanted to make this full-time income, I was giving it then about 10 to 15 hours. I would say 2 hours a day max, and sometimes, not, just depending on what my schedule looked like. But I was always surrounding it by these things: building my network, okay, following up with my customers, which is super key. Scentsy Connect app, guys, look it up. It is a great way to follow up with your customer. If you aren't following up with your customers, you're showing them that you don't care about them. And I know y'all care about your customers, so start following up with them. Start mentioning to them the joint opportunities. So many of you guys out there are like, I don't want to lose all my customers. The best thing I did was lose all my customers in the beginning, because that pushed me to go out and have more parties. That pushed me to go build my network. And that built my check more than their $50 order every 3 months. Their $50 order every 3 months, yeah, maybe I made what, 20, 25, whatever I was making off of their order. Great. When they joined, I was making 10 times that amount if they did well. Okay. So that person that don't be like that. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy like that. Share this opportunity with everyone. And I mean everyone, because there were a couple of times that I didn't. And I had one person that came to me. She's like, why haven't you ever asked me to join? And I'm like, because you're a doctor and your husband's a doctor and you guys make really good money and you've got 4 kids. And she's like, my friend, yeah, I'm a doctor. I've got a ton of college debt because of that. Yeah, I have a lot of kids and I need to get out of the damn house, and I want to go do home parties because I want to get out of the house once a week to get away from my kids for a couple of minutes and breathe and have fun with my friends and drink wine and sell Scentsy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if she wouldn't have come to me, what if somebody else would have asked her and she would have joined under them? I would have missed that whole opportunity because I was so scared to ask people, because I was making the decision for them. Oh, they're so busy, they wouldn't want to do it. Oh, I was making decisions for them without letting them make the decision. Once I changed that and I said, I have this great opportunity, I'm going to tell everybody about it, I'm going to flip all these orders into parties and recruits, that is when the magic really started to happen. And then I started to go, you guys saw me talk about incentive trips. If you don't know we can earn free trips, you need to go to your incentives tab. And guess what? I think all of my friends here, including me, earned our first trip when we were new consultants. When I started in August, I was a star consultant 4 months later when I earned my first trip to Costa Rica for free. And when we say free, Scentsy pays for everything. They even give us spending money and pay for our baggage. Even if we don't pay baggage, they still give us the money for it, so you can do whatever you want with it. It is totally free. Look it up, okay? You can do this just like we have. There's no difference between you and us. The only thing is we didn't give up. We didn't stop. We didn't let fear stop us. We listened to what experienced, successful Scentsy consultants were telling us to do, and we took action. We didn't just say, I'm too busy, I can't do it, I've got this, I've got that. We said, I need to change my life, and I need to change it now because Maggie had 25 damn dollars to go to the grocery store. I was tired at looking at all the places in the grocery store and thinking, you know what? I got to get like the store brand. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't want to think about that stuff. I just want to go get what I want to get. If I like not store brand and I like another brand that's $1 more, I want to be able to buy it. I'm tired of struggling. And I came to that point when I was like, I'm done struggling. I'm done doing this. I'm done making excuses for myself. And I'm going to go and make changes for my family for the future. So my time's up. Thank you guys so much. I hope I answered the questions that I needed to answer. But who's next?
You have me fired up. Oh my gosh. That is really exciting. You guys, there is no point in my Scentsy business career the last 11 years where I have never not been able to find someone who speaks to me in that season of my life. So maybe you're going to hear something that one of us says today and you're like, that's not for me. But maybe something somebody else says is like, wow, I needed that. So some people join out of monetary necessity. Some people join out of other fulfillment needs, right? I joined when we were in Korea and I was going to be overseas for 3 years and we were just starting our family and I wanted something for me and I was buying a ton of Scentsy. And so I asked my sponsor, I was like, how do I do this? And so sometimes it's not just the monetary necessity. So I love that Andy said, you know, don't prejudge people. Don't assume, because you know what assuming does. It makes an ass of you and me. I had to say it out loud because what if somebody didn't know what assuming does, right? So don't assume, don't prejudge, don't make the decision for somebody because you're doing yourself and probably them a disservice. Give them the opportunity to tell you no. Because maybe it could change their life. Maybe it could fill a gap that they didn't know they had or that they have been trying to fill with something. So I am talking about how to earn your first $5,000 paycheck. And I'm kind of fudging a little bit because my first almost $5,000 paycheck was like $49.59. And so I count that. I'm rounding up. But I don't do as well off the cuff as Rachel and Andy and Maggie do. And so I actually have data for you to visually see. And since we've already linked the income disclosure statement, we've talked about that, I am going to screen share. And because there's no other personal data besides my personal numbers and what I am sharing, like we're good to go. So let me show you my data. All right. Okay, you can see my page with my paycheck at the top, yeah? Cool. So in October of 2018, I promoted to star director. And up here you can see it's close enough to 5,000. Star director, my PRV was very high that month. I am typically a 2K to 3K PRV kind of gal. That's just usually been my thing. So my PRV was very high that month. I don't remember what was happening besides I was pushing. I don't remember if there were any special launches, but I wrote down here the amount of parties that I had so you could see. All right, so with that 6,000 PRV, I had 4 parties that were mine. October is also my birthday month, and so I make a big deal of it, and I like to have fun other parties and specials and things that I open up to my customers. So I had 4 personal parties that I closed, and also it was probably the holiday collection launching because it usually launches October 1st. Yeah. So I probably was getting ready for that. And I don't remember if I did any actual events. I might have done like a school harvest kind of thing. I don't typically do those events anymore. So there could have been an event thrown in there. I'm not sure. Parties that were not mine. There are 1, 2, 3. There were 5 parties that were not mine that I had other hosts for. I had 4 random PWS orders from my area, and because I was lead consultant and above, my name showed up on the locator and they got to choose me from their list. And I only had 2 club subscribers at the time. I was one of them. So all of this other PRV came from my customers and from my parties. And if you didn't know, in the workstation, you can go to your commissions history tab where at the top you'll see this, but then you'll also see these drop down boxes. These are just screen grabs, so that's not it's not active right now, but you can see the breakdown of how you earned your PRV, how you earned your bonuses. So if you haven't done a deep dive into that, I would love to encourage you to go play around with that, because I tell everybody who's new, you cannot break the workstation. Sometimes it breaks itself because we're a lot, but you cannot break it. Okay. So go in, play around, and you can view your sales by country. So you can see right here, I had 880 of my sales were from my PWS. 609 were from parties. Scentsy Club was 3275. I know, it's wild. That's how much I earned from my club orders, my 2 club orders. I have more now. We have improved. And then other, I earned 53. Oh, this is 1320. Oh, that was the PRV. I'm mixing my numbers here. So over here, it says it's the commissions you got paid. Over here, it's the PRV that was earned, and then the final bonus, the bonus being the commission that you earned. So then scrolling down, my frontline TWV. So I had, my frontline count was 21. And from them, I earned a $437 bonus. And those from Escential and Certified. From my lead consultant bonus, I earned 127. I only had 3 leads at that point, so that's the bonus I earned. But then I had a first and second gen director. So don't forget, on our compensation plan, you can scroll here. You can't scroll on a piece of paper, Ariel. The requirements for a star director are 500 PRV, which I had, 30,000 in group wholesale volume, 6,000 in team wholesale volume. It gets a little tricky when you start growing leaders. Things get separated between team and group. That's a discussion for later. I don't want to get in the weeds on that. But then I needed to have 3 active frontlines and 2 personal frontline directors. So this gives you the breakdown of how much I made from my frontline, who were not directors, and then from my frontline who were directors and their groups. Look at that. $2,100 of my almost $5,000 paycheck was because I grew my group large. I brought people on, I taught them how to do things, and then they taught people how to do things, who then taught people how to do things. And it's this beautiful cycle. And then down here, you'll see, because I sold over 2,000, I got a 5% bonus, which ended up being $307. So when you look at this breakdown, $2,100, almost half of my paycheck was because of me growing and building a team, and them growing and building teams, teaching them how to do it, right? So does this feel scary and daunting? Probably. Sometimes it still feels scary and daunting, but we don't give up. It has been mentioned over and over, and it cannot be iterated enough. We don't give up. We hear no. Sometimes we want to give up. Don't confuse the two. We don't give up. We may want to, but we keep pushing forward. Maybe we take a pause. Maybe we take a moment for ourselves where we're like, okay, I'm going to regroup. I'll be back tomorrow. And that's okay. Please allow yourself that, because that is life. But keep moving forward. It's okay to hear no. That means you're asking. I know a lot of people have the go for no, and maybe that's a fun challenge for you. Maybe that's something that will move you forward and keep you motivated. Go for the no. See how many no's you can get today. Challenge yourself however it's going to work for you to be able to move forward. But don't assume. Always ask. And don't give up. I think that was all for me. Hold on. We're admitting someone else, and then I'll transfer over to Wendy. So that's how to earn a $5,000 paycheck. Don't give up.
Hi, friends. Everybody excited? You guys have done such a great job tonight. I'm probably going to repeat a lot of the same stuff, but let's go back. My name is Wendy Heath Newgas, and I just celebrated this past July my 15 years with Scentsy. Ah, such a beautiful blessing at SFR. It was the best opening night. How fun. But really, what happened to me at that time, let me put you on a little thing, and some of my friends may not even know this. I'm going to get really transparent. When I joined, the economy was rough. It was 2009, kind of like the times we're going through right now. Let me compare that. I was selling jewelry for a direct sales company, doing very well for years, had a huge team, but people were not buying jewelry. It was more like a selfish buy when you don't have a lot of money, but they buy things for their home. Guys, did you hear what I said? That is big and that is huge. People will buy things for their home because it doesn't feel like a selfish buy. So I was doing a fundraiser, some things never change, for the jewelry company. I walked by a booth, smelt something and said, "Oh, I can't, those are candles. I can't have candles." My husband was a fireman at the time. He's now retired. And I said, "I can't." She goes, "Oh no, it's a candle, but it's with a light bulb." I'm like, "What?" "Okay, let me just take one." And I grabbed a bar of wax and a mini warmer, came home, plugged it in, and I was already losing the jewelry sales and kind of just seeing the shift in my business. And my husband goes, "That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I think you should represent that now." And I did. And I let go of my team of 2,000 with the jewelry company because I believed in this product. I joined for the safety. Guys, if you don't think about that when you're sharing your products, we can leave our warmers on at all times. Those at Hobby Lobby and Walmart can't. So really the safety is what got me and dragged me in. Now, did I pull all of my cookie lead people on my team over? No. If they joined, they did it because they wanted to. I never felt like I would bite the hand that fed me so well. I never asked one of my team to join. Suddenly, they all started joining. I joined in July 2019, didn't make it to that first reunion. I didn't have any money to go, right? I was broke. Another little bit of transparency. 2 months later, we were going to be faced with losing our home. I went through a bad deal with somebody who wanted to refinance my home and said, "Don't make these payments." I came a month away from losing this house right now. And my father stepped in and wrote me a $10,000 check, and I paid him back with Scentsy a year later. Almost lost my home. So times were tough then, just like they are now. What you need to do is you just need to stay focused, stay on this path, and don't ever, ever give up and never quit on a bad day. So what I did in the beginning, so I started going, woo, I got 6 people who joined. This is great. Someone, I didn't know about PRV bonuses, what GWV, TWV. I just knew how to sell. So I was good at that. So I just sold and sold. Some people joined my team, and in 3 months I hit director. Didn't even know I did. Didn't even know I did. I had an annual mentor my first year. Didn't even know how I did it. I didn't look at what was happening. I just got out there and shared. You know what? You don't need to have all the acknowledgement. You have to have the heart and the commitment and the drive to do this business. That's all it takes. Passion and a purpose. You want to change your life? Let Scentsy be that vehicle. Completely changed my life. Look at my beautiful friends up here that I have. These incentive trips that we've earned. It is just absolutely crazy. So then I'm here as director 3 months in, not knowing still what I'm doing, but didn't worry about it. I just was selling, 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 selling because I knew how to do that. I wish I would have known this little piece. I wish I would have sponsored from the get-go. I wish I would have known that was going to change lives. Selling and sharing came easy. The sponsoring is the harder thing for me. And it's still hard for me today, but I focus on it because I see the difference of my team. And when I get to this $10,000 check, you're like, you'll see it. But so I'm going along my business, and I was like, star director, didn't really matter. I just was working it. I was sharing. Once I learned about sponsoring a few years in, swear to God, I didn't really do much. People just joined. Once I started asking and working with them, doing director programs, doing small little micro chats on Messenger, really engaging with my people, it all changed. My life changed. I did this in the beginning to pay for private college, private high school, for my kids. My kids are my purpose. Now they're all grown up and I have a granddaughter, but I did it, and it was that drive every day. You got to remember why you're doing this. Oh, I knew I could pay for private school. I knew I could pay for college. I knew I could pay for my daughter's wedding a couple of years ago. Scentsy paid for $160,000 wedding. I'm going to be transparent. 166, sorry. Yeah, I did that, but my Scentsy did that. It was a weird time. It was during COVID. But the minute I reached that and I grabbed my people, I turned around and brought them up with me, my business changed. My life changed. My heart, I had a purpose. I had the passion for Scentsy. And it wasn't just about selling our products. I'll be honest with you, selling is the only thing you can control is your PRV. You can have a huge sales month and make great money. That's not where it really is. Maybe I was stingy with my PRV. Andy said that word. Maybe I just didn't realize that by helping somebody and flipping a party, no one ever told me. Alice Kalilimoku, God rest her soul, was my upline. And she just told me, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. She was my biggest cheerleader, but never really said, maybe you should. I'll be honest, I'm a superstar director. I never went to boot camp. I didn't get that because I just didn't know that was a purpose and that was a plan. So reaching back, helping others, I did little director programs, and I really, really earned these trips by helping others. I know it sounds crazy, but I started sponsoring, I reached down, and then I helped them get their goals. Shooting star is your first goal. That is the most important thing to start with. Of course, certified, sensational star, all of that matters. But I worked with them and continued to build them and continued to work just like you guys. Hitting those early goals is everything. More success, I forget the percentage, happens with people who hit those early goals. So strive hard, you essential and certifieds. Reach those goals right out of the gate. Even if you're a reinstate, do the program all over again in your head. Relaunch your business. Do I think launch parties are successful? Do I think it's imperative that every single person should have a launch? Yeah. If I can do it in person, I do. But guess what? I'm doing virtual launch parties right now for people all over the country. It's simple and it's easy, and it's the same thing. Using your starter kit, sharing the products, and using the product training guide. You don't have an upline? We are independent consultants. You don't need somebody. You don't need someone to do this. You just got to have that passion and that purpose. Number one. And pull out your product training guide and do your own launch party. Oh, you started last month? Do another party for yourself. Just share your products. But don't forget, sponsoring is the life-changing place. So I remember Jen Audette telling me as well, yeah, this is a few years ago, 2K, which is my goal every time, because if someone's going to give me a bonus, I'm going to go for it. That's me. And getting 2 new teamies is it. But you need to turn around and reach back and teach your team to do the same. This is how you build that residual income. 100%. One more thing I'm going to say before I talk about these numbers. Even taking, as you new people, you're like, there's so much to do. Listen to me. Take 15-minute little intervals in your day where you can shut off, if you can. Kids are napping, whatever you can do. The husband's making dinner, maybe. Bless him if he is. Mine is. And doing all the things. Take that 15 minutes and work intentionally on your business. Now, you can't get far working 15 minutes a day, but I'll tell you what. You work 15 minutes a day with people joining. 15 minutes a day, maybe on a lunch break if you work full-time with host. 15 minutes a day working on sales, and 15 minutes a day using your Scentsy Connect follow-up app. Your business will change, because you can spend your day scrolling and thinking of all these things and watching all the trainings and not putting in the effort. Those trainings aren't going to get you anywhere. You have to do hard work. My daddy always says, everything good comes from hard work. You want to succeed? Put your head down and truly believe in yourself. You need to believe in 2 things. Believe in Scentsy and believe in yourself. with passion and purpose. And I'm telling you, this business changes lives. It really does. Like I said, I almost lost my home when I began. Now, I'm looking at my big paychecks now. I wrote down some numbers here because I want to share them, because I'm going to talk about my first $10,000 paycheck. That is always a big number with everybody. Yes, I was a star director of October 2019, and I'm actually a superstar director. I was 10 years in the business before I had my first $10,000 paycheck. And I'll be honest with you, if I would have sponsored earlier, I believe, and taught my team to do the same, it would have came quicker. But you know, it's my journey, and that's just how it happened. So in October 2019, with the team of 912, our group of 912 and a team of 118, paid at title superstar director, with my PRV being 6K, remember, Wendy Consell, I hit my first $10,000 check. Did I sit on the floor and cry? I did, because that's always been a goal of mine. Was it easy? No. What is it attainable? Yes. You just got to come out of the gate right from the beginning, hitting all your goals, and don't just be like, well, I hit sensational start level, whatever, 1, 2, or 3. I always tell my team, go for level 2, preferably level 3, because it's all about that trophy warmer. You want to get a prize to put on your shelf. You want to look at something in your office or in your living room that you can say, I did that. I really believe a lot of people love this business for the recognition. They love it for the friendships, but most important, I know it's a financial thing, especially right now. So take every party, don't be stingy, flip it if you can. Offer that experience bag. I know Rachel held up a little bag. I do a small little experience bag, give it to every single person that wants to do a party, that is doing online parties, whatever they're doing. And I give that bag to let them experience our products, and it shares some samples, and they get to share it with their friends and family. That is the success of my parties. Then you can turn around and say, but Mary, you just sold $500. Do you know next month on your paycheck, if they only sold the 500, if you join right now, you could take the free, the half price, and take the commission. So say the party ended now, by the 9th of next month, they'd have $100 if they sold no more of commission. They could put that kit on their credit card and pay it off the next month. That $99 joint, I'm going to tell you right now, is the best way to do the business. But you can always flip a party. The host join is special, is amazing. There's so many different ways, but you need to stay focused. You need to believe in Scentsy. Most importantly, need to believe in yourself and work really intentional. You can do this business in 15-minute intervals if that's what works for you. I take a morning and I go through every morning. I do my Scentsy Connect. I do my follow-up. What I do first thing. Then I look at my numbers. Then I look at my team members. I do connection calls. Connect with your people. We are a people business. I do the parties and the events and the fundraisers and the bag parties and the flower parties. I am the party queen. I just love it all. I can't do enough. But what I can say is find what works for you in your business. May not be events, it may be home parties, it may be bag parties, it may be online parties. Do what you can. You start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And I promise you, nothing but success. Stay committed and never give up on a bad day. I love you guys.
Thanks, Wendy.
Yes.
So in closing, guys, first I want to just mention something really quick. I want you guys to know you don't need an office. You don't need to carry stock. You don't need to have a fancy computer. You don't need to have fancy anything. I started out thinking I needed all that stuff and I needed to print all this stuff and make all this stuff and do all this stuff. Now I've simplified so much my closet, because we live in the Florida Keys now and I have a tiny home. Like, I don't have space. This is my office. I have a little desk right here, a bamboo desk that I sit and I do trainings, and I have a little, like, a tiny closet that I keep all my stuff that I need. You don't need anything but a will to go forward, and a phone, really. Like, really, let's be honest. So first, we did this because we want to inspire you guys the way that we have been inspired by others. When we started, we've all mentioned we were inspired by others, and we want to do that for you guys. We wanted to tell you how we got here. The reason that we didn't spend too much time training on tools and nuts and bolts and about parties and about all this is because there is so much training at your disposal in your workstation, on YouTube. There is a plethora of information. What we wanted to do is inspire you to know whether your goal is 100 a month, 300 a month, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 a month. It doesn't matter. You can hit whatever your goal is. It creates, you have to have more time put in maybe, or, those things, but there is a space for everyone here. And we wanted to let you know the different levels and kind of how to get there so you have a little bit of that knowledge. Now, what are you going to do now? What you're going to do now is you're going to come up with a plan. You're going to come up with a plan of what you want. And you're going to talk to your sponsor, you're going to talk to your director, superstar director, you're going to get on your team pages, you're going to get on YouTube, you're going to get on Workstation, and you're going to do one thing different, and you're going to start there. So if you haven't talked to anybody about joining your team, you're going to talk to one person a day about joining your team. If you haven't talked to anybody about hosting a party, you're going to start with talking to one person a day. I told my husband the other day, one little inch can be a mile in a few months, but you have to take that 1 inch a day to get there. We don't want you to feel overwhelmed and think you have to implement everything in the world. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get stressed out and you're going to quit because you're so stressed, right? If you know the possibilities, which you know now, if you are motivated, if you act consistently every day with the time you have, and you simply just don't give up, you will have success in this business. The one thing that this has done for me is it's given me confidence, personal development that I never would have had before Scentsy, and it's given me some of the very best friends I've ever had. These ladies, I don't know if you guys know because a lot of you are new, but every time we go on a trip, we're not part of each other's upline, downline. We don't make money off of each other here. Simply genuine friends. These are authentic women that lift me when I'm having a bad day. They help me see the light when I don't see the light. And when I don't want to see the light, they say, you know what, you're right. Just scream and get it over with, and then let's move on. That's the type of friends. They want me to do better. And guess what? I don't hang out with people that say, I don't know, I'll try to do it, or, I guess, goals are goals. No, I hang out with people that do better than me. You know why? Because I want to do better. And that's how, when you surround yourself with a circle of 5 people that are doing what you want or doing better, that's when magic happens. If you surround yourself with a group of 5 people that are telling you, you're never going to do this, this is stupid, you're never going to be successful with this, you're going to believe them. And you're going to start thinking in your own head, and you're going to believe yourself. I know many of you look in the mirror today, and it saddens me because you tell yourself that you're not worthy, or you can't do it, or you're not going to do it. I want you to wake up tomorrow morning and tell yourself you can do it. You're going to do it. And these are the things that are going to get you there. These are the things that you need to do to make this a success. So let me see. I think I have everything else here. Yeah. So inhale courage, exhale fear, radiate belief in yourself, and go get it, man. What's the worst that can happen? You fail and you get back up and you try it again. What's the worst that can happen? You get some free Scentsy and $100 to go out and buy yourself a new pair of shoes or groceries. What's the worst that can happen? Keep telling yourself that every day. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing, right? So we would love for some of you guys to hop on and just like put your video on so we could get a picture. And what we want you guys to do is also take a picture, right, with us and share it on social media and say, oh my gosh, like whether you just joined, maybe you just joined and you're like, oh my gosh, I just did this training and I'm like on fire, ready to go. Who wants to host a party? Because that's the only way I'm going to have success. And I need 5 people right now. You're going to take a picture and you're going to say, I just joined Scentsy, or I just reinvigorated my business and I am on fire right now and I'm with the right company and I love it so much. And whatever you want to say, the more you share about Scentsy, in a positive way, the more you're going to draw people to you. Okay. So please guys, just get on video. We don't care what y'all look like. I mean, did you see the way we showed up? I mean, come on. Hop on, let's all get a picture, screenshot, do a selfie, whatever you guys want, and share it. Share it on social media. So hold on, we're gonna take a picture in like 5 seconds. I'm gonna let everybody that wants to hop on. I don't want to feel like I'm pressuring anybody, but everybody, okay, ready? We're gonna like act like we're really having the best time of our life, and they should join our team right now. So ready? Cheese. Now you guys take a picture too. I don't know if you guys screenshot, but we're gonna do one more too. You guys take a picture of yourselves. So 3, 2, 1, cheese. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys learned. Does anybody have anything to say, our leaders, before we leave?
I said it in the comments, but I'm just so appreciative of your time, and it takes a lot to be willing to come here and listen. Your time is so valuable. It is the most valuable non-renewable resource that you have. So we appreciate it. We do not take that for granted. Thank you.
You guys can do this. Go do this.
Woo!
We got your backs. Bye, guys. Thanks for showing up.